I just think if you're Mark Pope, you live with Oweh right now.
He gets the basketball. He drives. He pulls it off! And in with a half second to go. Oweh did it again to Oklahoma. Kentucky will win it. Wow, they are still living in the afterglow of Oweh, away we go with another win over Oklahoma. And the challenge tonight, number 3 seed Alabama. It's Kentucky and Alabama for the 3rd time this season. And they are aware of what happened in the first 2. Let's go inside the Kentucky locker room a few minutes ago.
In the college basketball season, there's not many times that you get to play a team twice. You definitely don't get to play a team 3 times. I'm so grateful that we get the chance to make up for the last 2. And I'm ready for what we about to do today. Now, we've been talking a lot about hunting dogs. We went and we ate yesterday. But something about these hunting dogs, we selfish, we greedy. So what we gonna do today? We gonna eat again.
The hunting dog is going to be hunting some terrific players, including that guy right there, all-SEC first-teamer Mark Sears. He of the phenomenal buzzer beater of his own against Auburn. And Grant Nelson, who has played really well recently, still a little banged up, but he is going to be a force and factor that those hunting dogs are going to have to deal with for Kentucky. Earlier today, it's been all chalk. Johni Broome, a double-double. They take care of Ole Miss, move into the semifinals. Tennessee Volunteers, 17 of their first 21, thanks to Chaz Lanier. Their defense clamped down. They knocked Texas out. They move on to the semifinals. And just a little while ago on our floor here, the Gators, and overwhelm is the absolute appropriate word. They were dunking and doing everything else that they wanted to do in a convincing victory. Walter Clayton Jr. led the way, but it was the big fella, Hauken Condon, who got the job done. Will it be 1, 2, 3, and 4, or can Kentucky crash that party? We'll find out here as the tip is just minutes away. Welcome, everybody. We'll hear from Molly McGrath, get an update on Lamont Butler in just a moment. That's one of the stories here. But let's talk about big picture here. This is a seeding game, NCAA tournament, and a chance, as Kobe Brea said, to finally slay a dragon that's got us twice.
Well, if you're Kentucky, you're going to have to tighten up your defense because Alabama in 2 games has averaged 99 points against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky has improved defensively over the last month, but they will be severely tested tonight against an Alabama team that wants to race the ball up and down the floor. They don't talk about playing with pace. They talk about making it into a race. And if you're Kentucky right now, Ravi, you came here to win this tournament. Mark Pope talked about it from the day he got hired, how important this tournament is to Big Blue Nation. And here they are, just 1 win away from getting to the semifinals after a miracle finish and a meltdown by Kentucky that was saved by a 0-0 Oweh to be here now tonight.
All right, let's get an update on Butler from Molly.
Yeah, guys, Kentucky guard Lamont Butler is out for this game with a left shoulder injury sustained in last night's game. But head coach Mark Pope said imaging results came back this morning with very positive news. He said Butler suffered a different injury than the one he's been nursing. They expect a quick turnaround for his recovery, saying if this was the championship game, he would be playing and he wouldn't rule Butler out if they advance this weekend, but they're hopeful he can return definitely for the NCAA tournament.
Wow, great news.
Really, really great news for the kid, for the program, and for Big Blue Nation to think that Lamont Butler's injury is not necessarily related to what he's had. And I know Mark Pope also echoed the fact we could not have gotten better news on Lamont Butler. Jimmy mentioned the average of 99 points. In game 1, it was 102-97 in favor of Alabama. In game 2, 96-83. And man, Alabama is riding high, but they're going to have to deal not only with the Kentucky basketball team, Kentucky Arena, basically.
Well, Bridgestone Arena is full to the rafters, and it's probably 80% Kentucky blue that comes into this town and takes it over during SEC tournament week. This tournament means a ton to the Bluegrass State and the fans of this Kentucky Wildcat team. Folks plan their entire vacation for the year to take off work to come here. And Mark Pope wants to make it a 4-day party, not just one and done.
Kentucky's won this tournament more than any other team, 31 times. Second on that list is Alabama, and they've won it 8 times.
Yeah, that's the difference. It seems like Alabama, they got their mojo back on that shot that Mark Sears stuck on Auburn to win that final regular season. Alabama was struggling. They're just not in a groove, but that one shot by Mark Sears may have got this Alabama team right at the right time.
Here we go with the tip. Kentucky and Alabama. Spot in the semifinals. Controlled by the time. The Baron Philon, the phenomenal freshman, will handle the rock. Travis Perry gets the start for Kentucky tonight. They have an alley-oop set. Carr is there. They threw it over his head, and Oweh jammed it in.
That's why you put Philon in the starting lineup as a playmaker. Also gets Sears off the ball.
Take a look at the Kentucky starting five. Mentioned Perry now, the starting point guard. You'll see Williams handle the ball a lot. Andrew Carr is as healthy as he's been in a long time, dealing with that back injury. Williams comes up just short, and Oweh is able to tiptoe and keep the ball in. The Alabama lineup that Jimmy has talked about is #1 in scoring. That's blocked by Oweh, and Perry comes up with it. Philon has just developed an incredible game. Remember, Sears only had 9 in the game, in which he ended with the buzzer beater. Brea's first 3, no good.
Alabama wants to race this ball up and down the floor and wear Kentucky down. No point guard, no Jackson Robinson. And Alabama wants to have as many possessions as you can have tonight.
The hero is Otega Oweh. Porter Moser said he's going to try to take the game over, and he did last night. They couldn't stop him.
And Alabama would like nothing better than to get Otega Oweh in foul trouble, make him guard in this game.
Nelson sees a lane, throws it up, and they get a blocking foul on Carr.
You can still take a charge in college basketball, but you've got to be there almost set like a statue. And Carr, I think he gets those feet down before that last plant foot is on the floor from Grant Nelson. He's there before that left foot gets down, and I think that's a miss early in this game that goes in favor of Alabama.
Nelson to the line. He's a 66% free throw shooter, and he knocks down the first. One of the keys to Alabama's victory against Auburn was Grant Nelson's play and his ability to knock down early threes. So he missed his first one tonight.
Yeah, right about 25% in conference play. And Grant Nelson has found his groove, though, as a fierce driver at that power forward spot. And remember, he's all of 6'10", a very tough cover.
He was a driver in high school, too. Backdoor Perry, no, and he crashes to the ground.
And he's got numbers.
Youngblood, and they're going to whistle. Are they going to get that on Perry or Carr? No, it's going to be Perry. Kentucky's had a couple of shots go halfway down and out as you take a look at the man now in charge of leading the Kentucky Wildcat program. Of course, he played, he captained, he understands championships, and as he said when he got the job, we want to hang banners. That's what we need to get back to doing at Kentucky.
He won this tournament as a player back in 1995. He knows what it means for the people dressed in blue.
Morey, he rammed it off the back of the rim. Kentucky trying to get the seal off of this basket. 0 for 4 to start as Williams pulls his way down, and he draws the foul on Nelson. Laurie Williams is 7 feet, 252 pounds. As you take a look at Nate Oates, who has absolutely turned this program into a winner. You see he's won the regular season and tournament titles. He has embraced and brought with him the analytic approach of we want to shoot threes, we want to shoot shots at the rim, and we want free throws.
Since Nate Oates arrived at Alabama, Alabama has an SEC best 75 conference wins. And they are chasing their 3rd SEC tournament title in 5 years under Nate Oates.
First one good from Williams, second one as well. He's a 65% free throw shooter, but the free throw shooting has improved as the season has gone along.
Right, there's a lot on Travis Perry to stay in front of Phylon in this game. Can he do it?
They seem to have figured out a way to get it to Oweh. He's got 2 dunks and just missed the third on an alley-oop.
But again, Perry not able to stay in front of Phylon. The defense gets attracted to the ball, and it frees up the lob play.
Williams out of Nottingham, England, is a calming presence on the floor. Perry fires it up, another bad shot, and Mark Pope may be going to his bench. It's been Chandler's getting the bulk of the time at point guard the last couple of games, and he taps him, and here he comes to the table. Sears, step back, high arc 3, no good, not close. Loose ball, Nelson had it and lost it. And Oweh slow to get up, so Kentucky's got some numbers here. And Oweh steps right through and dunks it in. The same basket he won the game last night on.
Rabbit, when you're outnumbered like Alabama just was, you've got to shrink the court and play a 4-man zone until Oweh gets back in the play.
They didn't do that. Nelson, tough shot over Williams. Williams held by Oweh, yes. That will allow the first substitution of the game to come in. Chandler for Perry.
Well, Oweh is still struggling from that hit that he took. But right here, you have to realize, Alabama, you are outnumbered. Those 4 guys in white jerseys, you got to zone up and pack the paint until you even it out into a 5-on-5 game. They don't do it. Otega Oweh right down the middle third for an easy one.
And Pope elects to take Oweh out, not Travis Perry. So it's Perry and Chandler that are on the floor, with Brea, Williams, and Carr.
There is no point guard for Kentucky this entire ball game. Multiple guys, and a play starter like Williams is going to have to be really good against this pressure defense.
There's Brea, great hinge out there defensively by Mo Diabate. Wow, he said, I can shoot right over you.
The confidence of Brea, because he could have thrown it inside to a mismatch, just rose and fired.
Aaron Stevenson into the game now for Alabama. As Sears goes reverse right hand. That is tremendous.
It's going to be a tremendous challenge for Kentucky to stay in front of Sears getting downhill. He and Phylon can get a piece of the paint about any time they want.
Williams, terrible pass picked off by Stevenson. They get a 3-on-1. Phylon absorbs and lays it up and in. He is a strong driver for a freshman.
And he is so good at initiating the contact. Didn't get the call that time. He has been fearless from day one on that Tuscaloosa campus.
There you go. There's Carr on a roll. Up and in.
And a good short roll by Carr to roll as a scorer. And a good find by Brea, who's 6'8", over the top of the double team.
Sears stepped through. That's pretty. And so far, there's no answer for Mark Sears.
There's no answer for staying from the ball. And that is a huge problem just 5 minutes into this game for Kentucky.
Diabate took it away from Brea. Phylon, Sears, 3-ball. Too strong. Williams comes back and grabs the rebound. Perry, good shooter. Corner 3, bottom.
The band Perry in Music City with a sweet stroke from the corner.
Chandler found him within 2, and the crowd's on its feet. Stevenson, good 3-point shooter, not there at all, way off to the right. Kentucky is not led in this game. They have Carr underneath, he's got a mismatch and he lays it up and in. They identified it to tie it.
The passing of those Kentucky bigs has been a problem for this league all year long.
Spin Sears, Williams blocked it. difficult pass. He tried to thread the needle, did Chandler, to Williams. And Mark Pope says just slow it down, slow the roll a little bit. It started 0 for 5, Jimmy. Since then, Kentucky 5 for 5.
Well, they answered. Mark Sears, though, right now, he's getting to that paint on a high level. Big concern for Mark Pope in this timeout is how do we stay in front of number 1 in white? You cannot let Sears beat you going to his left. That inside pass in between Williams and Carr, very difficult to handle.
He said when he let the ball go, he knew the game was over. Alabama over Auburn in that one. Grant Nelson had a big game as well, went for 23 and 8.
We were there for both of them. That shot, though, by Sears, I think Alabama recaptured their mojo, playing the style that they want to play. I say that because already Alabama's had 14 offensive possessions, Ravi, and they've got a shot up 7 times out of those 14 possessions within the first 10 seconds. That's how they want to play.
And a lot of those were paint points. You saw those attempted dunks on alley-oops to Oweh. Oh, what a play. Stevenson came out of that break with a drive and gets it to go.
And again, they scored within the first 10 seconds of their possession. Come out of the timeout. Nados goes right with Stevenson. A little bit of a brush screen and a ball screen operated on between Nelson and Stevenson. That's 4-5 action, hard to switch and hard to stay in front of. Stevenson and Nelson have both really grown as downhill drivers this year.
That's the second foul on Andrew Carr. So they get Garrison and Almanor into the game. Stevenson, Molly completes the 3-point play.
In the timeout, the focus in Alabama's huddle was all about the perimeter defense. Nate Oates told them you can't let Brea or Perry get open looks outside the 3-ball has been the difference in this game so far. And he also reminded them when we do go small, we got to be more locked in on our switches and play smarter. We are better than this.
Well, there's a lost ball from Oweh. Nelson, good shooter. Holloway, a little too strong, and a rebound to Brea.
If you look at the officials, every time you get bumped in this league, you're going to spend the entire time looking at the officials.
Exactly.
You better play on.
Boy, shooting Brea had a couple of open looks and didn't get him to go. Amori, the alley-oop, he caught it. No good. Almanor did a decent job once Amori came down with it.
Good job of Almanor to get his body into Amori and take away his legs.
Oweh, that's a big foul that time on Stevenson. As Oweh will shoot a couple of free throws.
Oweh is a force, and he is the reason that Kentucky is even playing tonight after what he did to Boomer Sooner yesterday in the last second. But if you're Kentucky, when you play them, Ravi, 2 things. You've got to take away their threes, and you've got to take away their cuts and make Kentucky beat you off the bounce. That is the game plan for Alabama. That's what every team tries to do against Mark Pope's offense.
Oweh is a 77% free throw shooter. He missed that one. And all SEC second team player is Oweh. He wears 00 because it represents his name, O.O. He, of course, has a brother that plays in the NFL, Odafe. He is a linebacker for the Ravens. He talks about the great family support. Ortega himself was a running back in high school and gave it up to play basketball full-time. Chandler to Trent Noah steps in. A couple of Kentucky kids, Noah and Perry. Oweh has Garrison on the roll. He throws it up too strong. They're missing too many in the paint to start this game. And a run out. Philon denied, and a whistle from Lindsey. When LeBaron Philon, how aggressive is he for a freshman? We saw Jeremiah Fears last night, Jimmy, the freshman class. Todd Pettiford, Boogie Flance, so impressive. Tuesday night, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Our next SEC Inside will get you an all-access pass to this tournament right here, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. You'll see things you've never seen before. We're holding on to some footage, some sound from players and coaches. It is a real behind-the-scenes look. That's Tuesday right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
As Sears goes to the bench, the freshman Philon now has command of the offense. The kid that originally committed to Auburn. And you have to, if you're Kentucky tonight, you have to impact him when he's operating off of a ball screen. He is so good at getting downhill, finishing at the rim on both sides.
He knew all about the Auburn-Alabama rival growing up in Mobile, Alabama. Chandler went behind his back, and Holloway was right there to rip it. That's the 5th turnover for Kentucky. Pretty move, Phylon, and a finish.
Woo! Gifted. He is absolutely gifted. And now knocking down the three-point shot at about 33%. A tough cover when he can have that kind of a stroke with that kind of a speed.
Oweh, difficult bounce pass, 6th turnover. And watch out, Phylon and Oweh. Oh my goodness, LeBaron Phylon putting on a show, and down goes Oweh, who may have gotten hit in the face, and there is blood. Looks like maybe the mouth trainer's out there immediately.
Well, they will certainly look at this. The contact that has Oweh over there with a towel in his face.
We'll take a timeout here. We'll watch as LeBaron Phylon was going into the lane and makes contact right there.
Yeah, as he comes down with that right elbow, it hits Oweh right across the nose. Phylon with the finish. They will look at this during the timeout.
All right, Otega Oweh, of course, we saw him bloodied as he went to the bench, now heading back to the locker room. Remember last night, Colin Chandler had to get some stitches above his eye. We take a look at the elbow right there to the left side of his face. Phylon was able to continue the play, and after review of the play, before we get to that, let's get to Molly.
Coach, Otega Oweh is back in the locker room. How could that impact your team?
Well, we just move on to the next guys. These guys are, unfortunately, we have a ton of experience doing that, and they've responded really well, so that's what we'll do right now.
All right, thank you.
They'll have one shot. All right, Molly, and the review of the play?
Well, Pope has dealt with this all year, but the review of the play is that was a basketball play. Just unfortunately, it's the wrong place at the wrong time for Otega Oweh, who was actually in legal guarding position, actually maybe even in the cylinder, talking to the officials. But regardless, LeBaron Phylon at the line, and the turnovers for Kentucky with no point guard and now no Oweh. 6 turnovers for Big Blue, none so far for Alabama.
Yeah, and of course, no Lamont Butler. This is a critical time of this game. We'll see if Oweh's able to come back. But a 9-0 run, 6 points by Phylon alone as Brea gets fouled from behind. Big story is that foul was on Darion Reed, Jimmy. He's been out since February 15th. Now, he's a defensive specialist. He's been practicing limited, but to get him minutes here only means one of the top teams in the country is going to get better.
Well, Alabama's trying to win this tournament, and they're trying to get right to get back to that Final Four. And that's why Mark Sears came back. He wants to be the first guy to lead Alabama to a national title.
Williams, soft touch, no good. There you go. Trent Noah got inside on Aiden Sherrill.
He just has a knack, doesn't he, Trent Noah, for that basketball?
He's got a Cade Phillips-like knack for the basketball. He of Tennessee. Holloway, a lot of dribbling, and then a 3 that's short.
Just not the shot at all. He's probably going to come out. And Nate Oates not going to have much patience for a 10-bounce possession by Holloway to a fadeaway 3, and that horn blows, he just goes straight to the bench. He knew it.
Alabama foul on Diabate. Sears comes right back in.
Alabama really pressuring defensively, trying to make the Kentucky handlers speed them up and make them into drivers.
Perry backdoor. Boy, he did a great job to keep it alive, and a line drive shot from Almanor. No good. Here comes Alabama, Phylon and Sears. Diabate, no. You think their pressuring of the guards has to do with the end of the game last night when they saw all those Kentucky turnovers?
And it has to play in. And Oklahoma went that full court pressure, a little bit of a roadmap for Alabama to work with.
All but a layup for Kobe Brea right in front of the Tide bench. One of the top prospects in the 2024 recruiting class, Reed on the floor for Alabama as Phylon's 3 empty. Good box out by Noah on Reed.
He'll go the whole way.
He will, and he is... No, they will call it on the floor. Mark Pope is upset about that. This is your continuation call you want to see more of in college basketball.
This is the play right now that we have to move forward with in college basketball. That should be a basket and an and one in the future. The foul call right there, and maybe that big step with the right foot by Amari Williams, but there's a lot of momentum for those plays to be officiated like the NBA does going forward, and I think next year there's a good chance we have and one, and that would be one tonight.
Williams wants it again against Amori. It's Brea. He penetrates and hits the floater. Kobe Brea scored the last 5.
He just ball faked that rim protector away from his shot.
Sears dribbled himself into a near turnover. It's still Alabama ball. We have 8 on the shot clock. Now 5. Good dish there. Diabate too easy. Boy, they milked that clock right down to the last second.
How good was Sears that tight pocket pass, man. There was not much room at all for him to slip that thing through, and it was Diabate right that came out of it.
Williams assumes the position he did much of the year, which is a point guard center. As he took that ball up. Brea with Phylon lost him. Came up well short. Perry. Good job. Noah on the floor. Bama comes away with another 50-50 ball. Youngblood no good, and Williams wants to run.
Yeah, press up. Nadeau's telling his guys, press up, press up. We want to make Kentucky drive the ball.
Brea over Amori. No good. Terrific box out by Sears on Noah.
He is so physical as a box-off guy and a screener. Sears.
Yeah, Youngblood quick 3, no. Amori to dunk.
The long arm of the law around the rim is Cliff Amori.
And that'll be a timeout for Kentucky as Mark Pope looks at Amari Williams and says, good job. And I think he wants to take him out, and Amari's like, no, 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 no.
Alabama still has not turned the ball over in this game. They almost have a couple of times. But watch Kobe Brea right here. The ball fake right there kind of froze Amori and freed himself up to get to the front of the rim. Shooter shoot and scorer score. That's what Brea does. And man, Cliff Amori, anything around the rim, he owns.
Alabama's got a 6-point lead, 27-21. Molly just a minute ago with Coach Nadeau.
Coach, what does your defense need to continue to do to Kobe Brea and their shooters?
Yeah, we got to press into them. I thought Cliff did a decent job there. We screwed up a switch here, messed a couple switches up. We can't give them open shots, and then we're doing a good job taking care of the ball. We got to finish at the rim, though. We got a bunch of missed layups right now.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
There have been 11 shots combined missed at the rim. Alabama, believe it or not, only has 5 of them. Kentucky has missed 6 at the rim. Alabama's bigger issue is they haven't made a 3 yet.
Well, but we make it sound like the rim is always just clear and clean in the SEC. It's not going to happen. There's going to be a confrontation and conflict at the rim all the time. In this league, when you get the ball close to the rim, it just looks different than other leagues. But think about Alabama, 27 offensive trips, no turnover so far for Roll Tide.
That's pretty impressive. Remember the stories injury-wise for Kentucky. No Lamont Butler, though they got a great report on his shoulder. Noah misses another one. And Oweh left with a bloody, what appeared to be lip. Not sure what part, nose, lip, but he went back to the locker room and remains there as of now. Boy, Amori got hit. Who's that going to be called on? They call that on Carr, Jimmy. That's his 3rd.
Well, there's the injury you're talking about with Oweh, and that's just a basketball play. It's not going to be popular with Kentucky fans, but it's the right call. But Oweh, after he sat on that bench for about 45 seconds, they walked him back. A lot of blood coming out mouth, nose area. Such a load carrier, Otega Oweh, all year long, Kentucky's most consistent guy.
Same way that Brea got into foul trouble in our first game, and it really crushed Missouri. Andrew Carr having 3 fouls with 7:19 to go in the first is a huge story. And a game for a depleted team. So Williams, who was getting a breather they didn't really want, now back on the floor.
Boy, really pressing up on Williams. You don't want Williams to operate with space up top.
Chandler takes that screen from Garrison. Here's Amari Williams. Backing in Amari. He wrapped his arms around him, and they do get the whistle, which will send Williams to the free throw line.
Ravi, you mentioned Kentucky guard Oweh is back in the locker room with a very bloody mouth injury. They're not too concerned about his ability to return, but I am being told that he's still being evaluated. That is the most that I can get on Oweh's status thus far.
All right, thank you, Molly, very much. Amari Williams has had a double-double in both games. The other injury guy right there you saw is Jackson Robinson had surgery on his wrist. So he's obviously done for the year and will not be able to make an impact in the postseason. That's a guy that was a significant contributor with as good a three-point shot as you'll find.
Mark Pope has dealt with injuries all season long, maybe just 4 games in a row. At one point he had his entire roster intact, and again not tonight.
One thing about the character, though, of Pope and the team, man, all those injuries have not splintered them apart. It's brought them much closer together.
Sears goes inside to come outside.
Sherrill on the roll, and instead it's Stevenson. Again, a really good three-point shooter. Stevenson knocks it down.
A good find by Sears to wrap that screen up top, and once he got the ball, he knew exactly where Stevenson was waiting in that slot.
Perry reverse, and he's got a chance for 3 as Stevenson lands on top of him.
Did he practice those shots in that barn that he grew up with?
Sure he did.
That indoor court inside a barn, man, that is really good news for Big Blue Nation and all of college basketball.
You want to hear the ovation when he is seen again.
Here it comes.
Oweh has returned to the Kentucky bench, and his team has done a nice job. It's just a 5-point deficit against Alabama. Stevenson's 3 was the first one they hit all night, and they're going to get Chandler on a call on Sears. And his coach, Mark Pope, gives him a thumbs up for that.
Sure, because when Mark Sears gives it up, he then starts chasing the ball sometimes in the half court, and you're doing all you can to deny Mark Sears from that get action where he'll throw it and then bam, go back and get it. Such a tough customer, Mark Sears. What has he not done as a college basketball guard? Ravi, think about these numbers coming in tonight, the balance in his game. In conference play, he's taken 126 twos, talking about Sears, 126 threes, and 122 free throws. You can't have better balance in your offensive game than what this guy does.
I get the sense for years, Nate Oates will say, see, what we're trying to do is shoot threes, get to the rim, and get to the free throw line. Mark Sears did it better than anybody.
He sure did.
And so far in the now 2+ games against Kentucky, Jimmy, from the stripe, he's 21 of 22. Garrison finds the cutting Williams. Left hand, strong hand, that's a tough shot.
And right shoulder just to knock that contact away from him to free him up. One of 4 Kentucky players ever to have a triple-double. He had one this year.
Holloway back in, Sears left open, 3, no. Hayden Sherrill hustles, Perry goes over to try to keep it alive.
And watch Amari Williams with his right shoulder right there. Just knocks Sherrill back just enough to let him elevate. And here comes Oweh.
Already a legend in Kentucky basketball allure.
Look at that.
Oklahoma transfer with the win last night. And like Chandler, he now will leave Nashville with some new stitches.
What Mark Pope say was it last night? You're going to have to kill us to beat us. With a bloody lip and a bloody eye is not going to slow down this Kentucky team.
Holloway, deep, spins it up, no good. Sherrill out of bounds as he came crashing in. Well, the stage is set for another Oweh heroic night.
Aiden Holloway has over-dribbled so far in this first half.
Perry rises, he got hit on the arm. That should be 3 free throws. And he will shoot 3, and this guy is deadly.
Travis Perry rejects that screen initially and then comes right back to it to get to his left. And Aiden Holloway with a late reach. That's going to be a foul all the time when you're reaching from behind like that.
Two more for an 83% free throw shooter, and that one was uncharacteristically long. Much better there.
He has been brilliant this year, according to Mark Pope, in the way in terms of next play guy. He can make a mistake, and he's been brilliant at moving on from his mistake.
All-time leading high school scorer in Kentucky State history. Travis Perry, 8, and listen to the roar of Big Blue Nation. Nelson, they will give him that shot, and they will pay for that shot.
I know he's 25% on the year from three-point. I think he's like 35% though from those corners. You got to respect his ability from that part of the floor.
Williams buries Sherrill deep. Go back to the corner 3. I asked the analytics folks at Alabama, is it easier to shoot a corner 3? They said 2 reasons it's easier. It's shorter, and they're generally uncontested.
Yeah, it is. Just a little bit. That's a tight corner to operate out of. And Grant Nelson does a good job of not stepping backwards into his shot. We've seen a couple of those violations earlier today. And Grant Nelson shoots a line drive, just barely gets over the front of the rim on those three-point shots.
As Williams gets set to shoot a couple. Here's what Nate Oates said about Grant Nelson after his 23-8 effort at Auburn. If we get him playing like that, we can beat anybody in the country.
They can. They certainly can.
Travis Perry gets a rousing ovation from Big Blue Nation behind the Kentucky bench. He comes out.
And if I'm Mark Pope, I'm looking at the lineup that Alabama has on the floor. And I think, who can check Amari Williams? I'm going to Amari Williams to close out this half, as long as Nate Oates has Grant Nelson as his post player.
4-point game.
Zone by Kentucky for the first time.
Phylon way too strong, out of bounds off Alabama.
Now, will it be Diabate or Nelson that gets assigned to Amari Williams? It's Grant Nelson. And Amari Williams has the strength and the length advantage over Nelson in this matchup.
Nelson's on the floor with 1 foul. Oweh wants to visit the paint again. Instead, he throws up an air ball. And Almanor, nice play to Chandler to keep it alive. There's Williams. No foul called. It looked like he got hit on the arm, but no whistle.
I think Phylon got ball, Ravi. He's so fast with his hands. This kid he's got that it factor, 0 in white.
Sears thinks he's got a step, and then he lost it out of bounds.
Yeah. Now Sears having some turnover issues. Just the first one of the game, though. And you're over 16 minutes in. LeBaron Phylon comes in right there. That is a block. You can get a hand contact when you're going as a blocking a shot. That's a good play on.
Ooh, she doesn't. Well, she's so comfortable in the Baron Philon, she can just shut it down.
Yeah, she is. Very confident nap right there by that young lady.
The Philon has 8 points, pretty balanced scoring amongst he, Sears with 6, Nelson with 7, and Amuri with 7, Stevenson with 6 to make up the 36. They have been a terrific fight from Kentucky so far, down by 4 with the ball.
Alabama has scored 90 or more points 17 times this year. That leads the nation. If you're Kentucky, you're going to have to match that offense of Alabama for the remaining 23 in this game.
Philon is guarding Brea. Chandler, underhand pass. Williams couldn't handle it. Kentucky's got 7 turnovers and a nice play there by Diabate.
It is literally a foot race for Alabama from one end to the other. They fight each other to get out in front in transition to be the one that finishes.
Almanor, a little puppy boy, another one missed at the rim by Kentucky. Nelson, that is an offensive foul. Chandler looked like he was falling down, and a little elbow helped get him down.
Well, guys, one thing to look for, Amari Williams slammed his water down in frustration about that no call in their timeout, and he told us a switch flips when he's on the floor. He becomes a different person and said he's at his best when he's angry, and Mark Pope taking advantage of that, drawing up plays for Williams, trying to take advantage of his frustration.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they all acknowledge when he's mad, we're better off.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, that was the right call by the officials. You can have contact with the hand if you're going in to block the shot when the hand's on the ball. Colin Chandler has found him some playing time the last couple of weeks because of his defense as much as anything, and that burst and pop that he's got as an athlete.
Williams, a freshman, Sherrill on him. As Brea waits for him to roll, there he does, and goodness, another one.
And they're not really right at the rim, they're like at that 6-foot mark, but the ones you got to make in this league.
And they've really generally been uncontested. Philon, a challenge for anybody. The floater doesn't go. The rebound, Rip Sherrill. Sherrill's got a chance, and no jump ball, they're going to say. Possession arrow, Kentucky. Made Oates is now beside himself.
Alabama quickly got into that empty corner pick and roll action. And Sherrill right there with 2 hands starts to go up, but Ansley Almanor rotates over and gets his hand on top of it. And Doug Shows with the right call.
Alabama's had 3 turnovers in their last 5 trips.
That's a jump ball right there, Ravi. Almanor got all ball up top. Good call. Not an easy call.
Brandon Garrison in for the last 2 minutes of this half. Bounce past Noah. Loose ball to Garrison. He says, I'll go this way. No good. Williams there for the follow.
Man, what an athlete. Amari Williams. He's going to find his way onto an NBA roster. I think have a long career.
Diabate barrels his way in. Williams is going to get called for the foul. And again, Jimmy, a great example of how Alabama forces the issue.
Well, guys, injuries continue for the Cats. Big man Andrew Carr has dealt with back spasms most of the season, and over the last couple of minutes, he requested a heating pad for his lower back, and he's now riding an exercise bike. So that pre-existing back injury is bothering him tonight.
Well, that's too bad. He's also got 3 fouls, so he wasn't going to come in. Maybe an opportunity to stay loose.
Ravi, it's amazing with all the issues that Mark Pope has dealt with his first year. I mean, completely building the team within a 2 or 3 week period after he got hired. And Kentucky's sitting here tonight with 10 quad 1 wins, tied for 4th in the country to start this SEC tournament.
Diabate makes them both, and the lead grows to 6. And there are 3 injured players, critical players. Again, the good news is Butler got good news on the imaging. They haven't ruled out a return if they continue to play in this tournament, and certainly a return in the NCAA tournament. Perry too short.
Alabama pressing up to take away those 3s for the most part from Kentucky.
Philon fired his own shot.
He's the best athlete on the floor, right? LeBaron Philon, the best athlete on the floor. And those guys have big impacts. And LeBaron Philon with 10 points in this first half.
Perry, ball fake, Williams, flush.
They're like the weak side defense over here, hugged up like they're at a junior high dance. No one gets to form an eye in the middle of the floor.
That one did go back court. That's a turnover. Quickly back to the junior high dance.
Yeah, just all hugged up over here on this side of the floor.
Oh, like boys on one side?
Yeah, something like that. I love the will, though, of this Kentucky team. They've had so many opportunities this year to get their heads down and get discouraged and break apart. And it seems like the more adversity Kentucky has this year, the tighter and the better they become.
And I think the crowd recognizes that. I think Big Blue Nation appreciates that about the team. An important last minute of this first half. Brea. No. Kentucky 3 of 9 from three-point land. That would have been a huge one, put him within 3. Sears, you can't let him go to his left. That's goaltend. You heard Williams slap that backboard. Pope is kind of trying to calm the anger out of him.
Ravi, if Mark Sears beats you going downhill with his right, so be it. But if he beats you going downhill with his left, that's on you and your Kentucky defense. And Sears just got one.
Williams, that's a turnover, and here comes Philon one-on-one with Brea. Up and in, LeBaron Philon show here in Nashville.
He's not quite Colin Sexton as a freshman, but I'm telling you what, there is some comparison. The comparison is the size and the finishing ability for a young kid. In the open floor, Alabama comes up with that strip and rip, and with LeBaron Philon right there, man, to take that hit from Brea and to hang. This kid is special. He does things that you recruit, you do not coach. Man, what a talent.
What a first half for LeBaron Philon. And again, Darian Reed has returned to Alabama's active roster. He's played and now back in. A defensive specialist and one of their better players who's been out since February 15th.
Was a big closing possession for Kentucky.
Perry looks like he's going to lose his balance, and Sears fell right on top of him.
It's the first personal foul on Mark Sears. Well, you got a kid stepping to the line, Travis Perry, and we've said this a couple of times this year, but back in the summer, Travis Perry made 100 straight free throws 3 straight days. There's a pretty good chance that these 3 go in. And they built a new house. We showed a picture of it earlier this year. They actually built a barn first, put a basketball floor in the goal, and that's where he really grooved what is a perfect stroke. You look at him from the above the rim camera on this free throw. Everything's lined up. The shot side of his body, the right side, elbow under the ball. He is a clinic on how to shoot a basketball.
I like the idea of building a barn with a basketball court in it first, then building the rest of the house.
Yeah, I think Travis Perry probably finds the nail and lines that toe up, which is right in the center of the rim. And from that point, the right side of his body, everything's lined up. He's not going to miss right or left. He might miss long or short, but he takes half the equation out.
Last shot for Alabama here in the first half. A 3 would get him to 50.
Remember, they've averaged 99 against Kentucky this year in 2 games.
Sears, bumped by Chandler, throws one up, no good. And that'll do it. Oweh will fire anyway. Couple of keys, points off turnovers. Alabama's taken advantage. Kentucky has turned it over 8 times. They've got 14 points off of those turnovers. Alabama only 4 turnovers in the first half. And points in the paint. Crimson Tide 28, Kentucky 18. Second half should be fascinating. Oweh is back. It's 47-38. We'll send you to the studio now. Right up top, Darinoka, Pat Bradley, Ron Slay, Damian Fishback. It is all yours. We're back, the men's basketball tournament, and it's Alabama leading 45-38. Took a couple points away when they went back and looked and decided that that goaltending call against Amari Williams was in fact not a goaltend. The ball was not on the rim when he slapped the backboard. So Williams is doing it offensively with 12 points, 3 of 7, and they like him playing a little angry. The best athlete on the floor, Jimmy Dykes has said, is this guy. LeBaron Philon's only a freshman. He's got 13 points. He can absorb contact, and he is the only member of the Crimson Tide currently in double figures. In a conference full of phenomenal freshmen, he may be the best, and we are in for what should be a phenomenal second half.
Philon's been great. 13 points, 3 assists, only 1 turnover. He's a young guard in a big guard league. You know, he's more than held his own. And he is the best athlete on this floor right now. His ability right to get downhill, and he is an outstanding layup maker, which is kind of undervalued. You think, well, yeah, it's a layup. No, not in this league. There's always a conflict at the rim that he plays through, and he has been special in this first half. Amari Williams, as you mentioned, keeping Kentucky in it with 12 points. And Amari Williams has actually been fouled 6 times in this game already. He's a problem for Alabama.
Let's go to Molly.
Well, you guys would be surprised to hear this, but Nate Oates was really frustrated and angry at the half. He said that his team is making way too many mental mistakes, and he does not like their lack of discipline, especially at the rim. He said we're not finishing our shots, and on defense, he said we're mixing up our switches overall, just making way too many immature mistakes, and multiple times in the first half. I heard him tell his players, we are better than this, so this is not good enough for Nate Oates.
Nope. Nate Oates will be the first to tell you that he's trying to get his team primed for another Final Four run and chance of the title.
And Williams picks up a quick foul 14 seconds into the second half. And Amari Williams now has 2, and that'll be 2 free throws.
And guys, on the Kentucky side, you mentioned Mark Pope said to beat us, you'll have to kill us. And at the half, he said he loves the fight from his team and their passion, but he wants them to be more disciplined with that passion and fight. And he told his team just simple plays over and over again is what's going to get us back into this game.
As Jimmy said earlier, simple works. Yeah. Free throw no good from Amori. Winner goes to the semifinals tomorrow, and if it's Alabama, then the top 4 seeds will advance to the weekend and play for an SEC tournament title. Florida, Tennessee already there, Auburn as well.
18 times this year, Kentucky has made 10 or more threes in a game. And tonight, Ravi, only 3 made threes. Again, Alabama really pressing up on Kentucky. No Lamont Butler. They're not fearful at all of Kentucky going by him.
No Jackson Robinson as they find Carr, who cuts in. There you go. They missed a handful of those in the first half. And good to see Andrew Carr, who's got 3 fouls off the bike and playing basketball.
And a good off-ball screen by Oweh to free Carr up for that cut.
Youngblood will rise, and he will knock it down. There's so many weapons for Alabama.
65% of his attempts on the year from the three-point line. And that's what he does.
Carr will come up way short. Perry, no. Andrew Carr frustrated with that shot. As you mentioned, they're trying to get these 3-pointers to go. 3 of 10 now in the game.
I like guards that aren't afraid to go in and be physical screeners. Oweh was that in the first possession for Kentucky in this half. And Mark Sears is probably the most physical point guard screener we have in the league.
Fight on, no. Decent defense that time by Perry. Oweh playing with his mouth all stitched up as he took an elbow to the mouth in the first half. It has not been much of a factor since he's returned.
A tough cover for Nelson right now.
Williams here's the foul.
I don't know why Alabama got switched off and they don't have Amori on Williams and Nelson on Carr. And as soon as Nate Oates saw it, or excuse me, as soon as Kentucky saw it, they just went right to 22 in blue.
Both of them have 2 fouls now. 3 fouls on Grant Nelson. They notice in the year of Flo Diabate is going to come in. Here's Williams shooting again from the free throw line, and he gets the friendly roll. Williams is 7 of 7 from the free throw line, and again, his improvement to get into the postseason, NCAA tournament, you're going to have to make free throws. 65% free throw shooter. It's gone way up.
Yeah, he's done everything for Kentucky this year. When you combine his points plus assists plus rebounds per 40 minutes that he plays, he's like top 5 in the nation at just over 40 points when you combine those points, assists, and rebounds.
Remember, the transfer out of Drexel, he has become a star on this Kentucky team. Youngblood to Sears on the move, and that's all deflected. It's a steal. Here's Brea. Here's Oweh. Flips it up. That will not go. Phylon sizing up Andrew Carr. Now launches a 3. LeBaron Phylon is having a rock star night. He's got 16 in Music City.
Right, there's a lot of NBA folks in the building tonight. Saw Danny Ainge at halftime, and you know they're making a lot of notes on 0 and white.
Now Perry misses one. Loose ball. He's on the floor. And oh boy, he threw it, and Oweh couldn't bend down to get it.
LeBaron Phylon competes his backside off. He's done it from day one. He really competes offensively. He really competes defensively. And over the last month, he has become a 34% three-point shooter to match that top-level downhill speed.
Again, a 6'4" freshman out of Mobile, Alabama. Sears turn, too strong. And they may call that on a Maury. One other note on LeBaron Phylon. I mentioned he grew up basically in between Auburn, Alabama. He once, as a 9-year-old, Jimmy, drew a picture of his future. This is a 9-year-old.
Yep.
And he was going to continue his academics and his basketball career at Alabama. And he drew himself dropping in the game-winning 3 in a 54-53 game. Now, he didn't make the 3, but he was involved in the last play that Sears, of course, made it. And then he realized, like, I've drawn this before. And he knew at 9 what his dreams were, and it's to be a basketball player for Alabama.
There's also a terrific wide receiver and defensive back until he gave it up in the 9th grade.
And he can do this, too. He's pretty good at basketball.
Kentucky just has no answer to keep this kid from getting to the rim off the bounce. None.
The lead has grown to 12. Carr turnaround on the fence line, gets it to go. Now they need some stops, and Phylon's trying to push the pace. Diabate finds the bottom, and that is the challenge in defending Alabama.
Nato really feeds his guys confidence as a shooter. Even the non-shooters, he feeds with confidence. Diabate, you back off of him and say, dare me to shoot it, that's on you. Let me make it, that's on me. It all starts with LeBaron Phylon again. I mean, his speed, just you cannot contain it so far in this game if you're Kentucky. In the open floor, he is just a monster. The sidestep to avoid Travis Perry. And he brings it with force and purpose. And such a high percentage finisher at the rim. There's Diabate. Back off of me, fine. I play for Alabama, and this is what we do. I just think if you're Mark Pope, you live with Otega Oweh right now.
He gets the basketball. He drives. He puts it out. And in with a half second to go. Oweh did it again to Oklahoma. Kentucky will win it. That's the moment of championship week so far, and plenty more to still come. Starts tomorrow, 1 Eastern time. Auburn, Tennessee. That's Bruce Pearl, Rick Barnes, all sorts of storylines there. Florida we'll get the winner of this one between Alabama and Kentucky with more moments to come. Semifinal Saturday, championship Sunday with Dan, Jay, Jess, and the rest of the entire crew. 57-44 here. UK, Jimmy, got it to 33-30. Since then, they've been outscored 24-14.
Well, Kentucky's going to have to get Oweh going. He only has 2 points in this game. But remember, Oweh has great endurance. He's been terrific in the second half all year long, averaging double figures.
Carr deep against Stevenson. He's really good right there. Andrew Carr at 10 points in this one. There's a pickoff by Carr. Remember, dealing with a bad back, and he nearly lost it. They should call timeout. And they did, and that's something like that can tweak somebody's aching back, but Carr seems to be all right. They got the timeout. It's 57-46. We'll take it.
Welcome back. Alabama up 57-46, and in that last timeout, Nate Oates much happier with the defensive effort, telling his players, you're getting stops, but you cannot let up. You have to take the 3 ball away from them. That is the key to their momentum. And then offensively, he was reminding his bigs, you need to set better screens for Mark Sears. They will continue to look to him and feed off of his momentum so far in this second half, guys.
And then it looks like it's going to be Alabama basketball. Carr did not get a timeout, instead out of bounds. So the Tide will take over, up 11, 15, 53. Just saw Oweh look at the rest of the teammates and say it's go time.
Well, Tamale's report, Kentucky's goal is to shoot 33-point shots a game. Alabama has limited them to 11.
Strong point paint by Stevenson. 13-point lead. Balanced scoring continues. He's got 8. There's Oweh. He got bumped. Yeah, he will shoot 2.
I like analytically how Mark Pope breaks his games down. He wants 33-point attempts every game. He wants plus 20 transition possessions, which is triggered off of getting a defensive stop and a defensive board. And what they call 32 assist opportunities is the goal. And assist opportunities, talked about it yesterday. You pass the ball to a guy, he gets a good shot off, he misses it, that still was an assist opportunity. So they chart all those, and when they're hitting those numbers, that's when Kentucky is really clicking offensively.
One of those, the idea of getting points off turnovers, etc., fast break points in this game, Alabama's got 15, and Kentucky doesn't have any.
Nope.
Oweh's able to knock down the 2 free throws, and that is points 1 and 2 in 21 minutes. So basically, since he's been hurt and returned, Oweh now has just 2.
Driving Mark Pope trying to change the game a little bit right now with a 2-3 zone alignment. They may match man at some point within this possession.
Holloway continues to dribble, and he throws one up in the paint.
All Alabama did was turn that zone into man-to-man, letting Holloway go right at Colin Chandler.
Backdoor move, Oweh reverse, and he will go to the free throw line again. A little frustrated he wasn't able to finish.
Ravi again, simple as good. Kentucky gets into a 2-3 zone, and Aiden Holloway right here now is going to come. He's going to make it man-to-man. And as Chandler gets back in front of the ball, it doesn't matter what the zone is. You go isolation and put Colin Chandler on an island against Aiden Holloway. That's good, simple zone offense by Alabama.
Garrison Stevenson has picked up his 4th foul, so it looks like we're going to substitute him out.
You know what else Alabama has going for them tonight in the building? To our right, the national champion, traditional mat co-ed cheer team. Alabama won this year.
As you've mentioned several times this week, the SEC just keeps winning.
They do just keep winning. That's the co-ed national champions in the traditional competition this year. Alabama took it home.
Garrison came down hard on the wrist of Aiden Sherrill. And clearly what we're seeing tonight, Jimmy, is an offense in Alabama's case that is running a lot more efficiently and smoothly than what Kentucky's is. Part of that, again, the injury to Lamont Butler, who is not going to play tonight. Obviously, he's been ruled out, but has not been ruled out to return if they were able to win this one. And Holloway finishes with a 3 and could certainly return for the NCAA tournament. But there are no answers right now for the Tide offense.
Holloway in double figures 21 times this year off the bench for Alabama. That's the SEC's best.
And Oweh gets hit again. That time the basketball came right down on his face. Alabama's shooting's been terrific. They started 0 for 9, and since then, Jimmy, they are 6 of 9. And a reminder, you know, you've heard about this, but these two teams combined go 53 and 3. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Number 2, Texas. Number 3, Florida, in a 3-game softball series. Saturday is at 2, Sunday is at 1, and the series finale Monday night on the SEC Network. Check your local listings for the softball showdown between the Longhorns and the Gators. And the other part that I think I've noticed, maybe you can confirm, Oweh, and maybe it's the injury, but the explosiveness going to the basket hasn't really been there. He's taken it to the basket, but it didn't explode the last couple of times.
And you just wonder how much that emotional win maybe affected the energy of Kentucky in this game. That's far from over. But Kentucky's got an uphill battle to climb right now with LeBaron and Philon in complete control in this game offensively.
Diabate wants to take Garrison down. He lost it. Holloway with 4. Oh, man, a bailout foul from Amari Williams.
That is his 3rd personal foul. And, man, you do not want to pick up your 3rd. Aiden Holloway was getting ready to take a very tough 2, almost from behind the backboard. And Williams switches out and trying to make a play from behind right there.
Holloway goes to the free throw stripe. Aiden Holloway is a 78% free throw shooter.
I think Nate Oates would be happy if Aiden Holloway took more threes than he bounced the ball. And I say that because Nate Oates has said, we want Aiden Holloway taking 11, 12, 13 three-point shots a game. They trust his stroke that much. 42% on the year from distance is Aiden Holloway.
The Auburn transfer. How about Sherrell's battle? He goes out of bounds often, but he put up a good fight with Amari Williams. Aiden Holloway's got the last 6 points, 13-point game. To Brea, he throws it almost over the backboard, and that didn't work. So here comes Philon again. Tricky dribbles through his legs, pulls up, 3-pointer. No. Great hustle. Oweh had it, and he kept it alive. Good job by Otoga Oweh to go to the ground. Williams lost it on the way up, but there's going to be a foul. He's going to shoot 2. It's just not smooth for Kentucky.
No, it's not. But again, when you've lost your 3-point guards like Mark Pope has this year, you're talking about Lamont Butler, Jackson Robinson, or Kriisa. So you're without a point guard. So it's not going to be smooth. It's going to be a battle. Almost every possession offensively for Kentucky in this game has been that.
Philon's going to get a break. Mark Sears is coming in.
So the star of the game goes out and gets replaced by the SEC preseason player of the year, Mark Sears. That's the depth of that Alabama guard core.
And how far Philon has come over the course of the season. Amari Williams missed both. Good pass. How about Holloway throwing it with a left hand?
And guys were watching the ball instead of watching where white jerseys were breaking off from. Alabama still right there in the hunt, Ravi, for a 1 seed in that NCAA tournament. It's probably going to come down to Florida, Alabama, or Tennessee, and it might be decided between tonight and tomorrow how those 3 teams do.
I I agree. I think tomorrow and Sunday will determine who ends up on that one line. That's a terrible play. Oweh. He threw it right to Alabama. Watch it. No defense there. An easy one for Diabate, and it's getting away from the Wildcats. And roll tide roll right now. Timeout, Cats.
Yep. And Nate Oates felt like that his team got right with that last-second buzzer beater by Mark Sears at Auburn at the right time. And they have carried that momentum here into Nashville in their first game of the SEC tournament. Kentucky just falls completely asleep. Brea, instead of tagging the roll guy, gets entertained by a three-point shooter at the three-point line, but you got to protect the rim first. Every defensive possession is built from the inside out, and just no resistance at all in Kentucky's defense the last 90 seconds. And Nate Oates says, I think we're heading to the semis in Nashville.
Historic season in the SEC, and it has certainly lived up to that, both individually and team-wise. Here are the first teamers: Broome, Clayton Jr., Sears, Wade, Taylor, of course, from A&M, and Sakai Ziegler. So 4 of those players will be playing this weekend, assuming that Alabama wins this game.
And Ravi, all 5 of those guys are last chance guys. This is their last go around, and those guys are so hard to knock out of a conference or an NCAA tournament when you know that you're just one loss away from your career ending at the college level.
Pressure that's been put on Travis Perry and Noah and Chandler, given the injuries, as they get the start here with a little over 12 minutes to go on a Williams flush.
A size screen by Kentucky, and Mark Sears just stuck with his guy instead of finding the size that rolled.
Sherrill denied. Loose ball, a lot of bodies banging. Perry had it. He's on the floor. Now Carr will pick it up. Boy, is that a battle. That hands and legs and kicking.
As long as Mark Pope is the coach, it's going to be hard to put Kentucky away.
Well, guys, Mark Pope usually very calm and positive, even when his team is down. And this is the angriest I have ever seen him, yelling at his team in that last timeout. You are quitting on the defensive end. If you don't want to play right now, find someone else. We are not being us. Be aggressive, get downhill, do it for your teammates.
Yeah, talking about those last 2 possessions before the timeout where they did quit. There was no urgency at all. And a little bit of fight back right now coming out of that fiery timeout huddle that Molly was listening to.
Wide open lane layups for Alabama going into that timeout.
There's not a nicer guy in college basketball as a head coach than Mark Pope. But don't be fooled for a second. He is a fierce, fierce competitor. And that look right there says a lot.
Alabama's 7th foul, so Williams will shoot 1. Kentucky's committed only 3. So for the next 11:47, every whistle will send Kentucky to the free throw line. And a miss for Williams. Talked about how good he's been. He's missed the last couple. A needle-threading pass to Amori. Holloway gets into his dribble mode here one more time. He goes baseline. Diabate came in. Oh, a nice job to go up and then under to lay it in.
How about the find, though, by Holloway? But Diabate again. They cut so well off of drive, talking about Alabama.
Bad pass by Perry there. He picked up the foul, and a frustrating moment more for Pope and Kentucky.
Diabate is a guy that wins the blue collar award more than anybody else because he cuts hard, he gets on the glass, he makes winning plays, just a super athlete to explode like that and get the ball to the left side and avoid the contact. He actually leads Alabama with 27 floor dives this year, things that Alabama charts as winning plays, and that's him.
Hard hat points?
Yeah. Deflections, blocks, steals, loose balls, they have different point systems for all those type plays, and he wins it more than anybody.
Diabate out of Queens, New York, and Youngblood decides, I'm going to launch a 3 and make it. This is Alabama at its near best right now with the diversity in their offense. As Carr, high arcing 3, bottom.
But Alabama, Ravi, they're tracking another 100-point game against Kentucky this year.
Sears logo 3, he got it. Oh, are they feeling confident? Chandler. That was a little denial by Diabate. They are hoisting it like it's an ocean.
Yeah.
They're going to get Chandler bumping Holloway.
8 for 21 in this game is Alabama. They came in making about 8 or 9 a game, but they can shoot it from deep. Man, that is I know that's a big logo, but it's still a long ways for Mark Sears to be standing on.
You live by the 3, you die by the 3. They were 0 for 9. It wasn't like that was a big deterrent. They have since gone 8 of 12. Sears. Working Oweh, pulls up, too strong.
Too close for Mark Sears. It's seldom do you see Alabama take those 15-footers.
He just rammed into Sears, who ran through it. He's got Carr with him, and he blocked it. You can hear Carr literally go to Joe Lindsay and say, that's a block. They immediately blew the whistle, assuming if that ball hit the backboard, then Carr got it.
Well, they made the call to look at it the next media timeout.
Carr's going to have his point validated.
I agree that ball was not on the backboard yet when Carr came from behind with terrific recovery, length, and speed.
Chandler had to go off his feet. He hustled for it to keep it alive. Oweh, he nearly lost it. Jump hook, Carr doing his best to keep the team in it, now with 15. They score so quickly. It's a 20-point lead for Sears again. And Garrison fouled by Oweh.
Take it Oweh, only 1 field goal in this game. And he's had a lot on him all year, but especially tonight. I mean, he's the reason why Kentucky's even playing, but Alabama has made life really tough on Oweh. Just constant pressure on him, making someone else other than Oweh be the primary scorer. Just 1 for 9 in this game.
There's that lip of his, which was just destroyed in the first half. It sent him to the locker room to get stitched up.
Greg, I stand corrected by Mr. Notaro to our left. Yeah, Oweh is 1 for 5 in this game. He was 1 for 9 in the last game against Alabama.
You guys getting along though?
No, not very well. We were until that. Slid me a note, forgot to write down the last time. Well, I think it's on there. I just ignored that part.
And then you know what? That's your right.
Yeah, it is.
Stevenson is knocked down a handful, comes up short that time, and he hustles for it, and he wins the 50-50 battle.
That's the kind of plays that Mark Pope will not like on film.
Youngblood missed a long one.
About a month ago, Nate Oates set Mark Sears down for the entire second half.
Against LSU?
Yeah, from that point on, talking to Mark Sears yesterday about it, Molly and I were, he said it humbled me, but also made me get that fire back in my gut. And from that point on, he has been all league everything.
He goes to his right, flips it up with the left, and there's another example of the Sears catalog. Sears all the way, and Alabama having its way with Kentucky.
And Kentucky right back to not defending. What Mark Pope talked about and challenged his guys, you have quit defensively. There's another possession of it.
Sears has scored the last 9 for Alabama. They can't buy one, even for a guy who's as good as Brea is at shooting the threes. Sears trying to put the hammer down. Well, Kentucky will try to regroup by getting healthier and find out where they are going to roll to play in the NCAA tournament. Already's had them right around that 3-4 seed line. As Oweh, that's an offensive foul, and the frustration continues for Big Blue.
Terrific job by Youngblood, man, to sacrifice his body and move those feet. Mark Sears has a lot in his Sears catalog. Those deep threes, the hesitation, you have to come out because of his ability in transition, Ravi, to stop and pop from deep. And another hesitation and a blow by. And man, Mark Sears, Phylon, Youngblood, right there with that Florida guard.
Fans that were here have maybe made their way out to Broadway, where they will be spending the next couple of hours. We will go inside the huddle. It's brought to you by Regions Bank.
Two of their best shooters got threes and more. We're not helping off the strong side off a shooter. This team shouldn't be playing with us. We know it. On the offensive end, our rim finishing's been a disaster. We got to get to the rim and finish.
Nate Oates is looking to inflict some damage, to impose his team's will, which they've been doing tonight. 21-point lead.
The goaltending call at 9:49 has been reversed. 2 points have been reduced from Alabama.
We've had two goaltending calls reversed in this game.
I love Andrew Carr, his approach after the goaltender's call. He walked up to Joe Lindsay, and you could hear, because of the microphones, that was a clean block, and we did discover that, Molly.
Yeah, guys, Alabama's coaching staff is coaching right now as if this is a close game, telling the players we're not looking to give them any life. We're looking to win a championship, so do not let up, stay disciplined, and keep working on getting better. And that's the mentality you have to win a championship, guys.
Yeah, it's about keeping that edge, man, for 40 minutes, regardless of what the score is. Think about this, Ravi. If Alabama wins, it'll be the first time in program history that Alabama has won 3 straight games against Kentucky.
Really?
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
It came from Alabama's SID, so I'm assuming it's accurate.
Oh, floater by Noah. Again, Darian Reed is on the floor and may very well figure into the plans of Alabama, improving them, making them deeper. Again, he was dealing with a hamstring injury for most of the year. He was the 5-star number 10 overall player in the 2024 class. He's wearing 35 in white, and as Oates said about it, he's going to be a pro. McDonald's All-American, all the intangibles, tough attitude, and a high IQ. Keep an eye on 35 as Alabama continues through the tournament and the NCAA tournament. Phylon drew a foul on Noah.
Just another lively, big body that Nate Oates can throw into a game. Defend his position, get downhill, get on the glass. When Nate Oates stayed in Tuscaloosa in the offseason and Mark Sears, the goal the entire time is, again, back to the Final Four and win a national championship. Nate Oates could have gone a lot of places, and he and Mark Sears got together and said, let's try this thing one more time. And it is all about a Final Four run and a national title contender, which is exactly what they are.
Again, they've gotten a little deeper. Phylon has improved dramatically. And another big picture, 30,000-foot look at the SEC. Obviously, Mark Pope comes here to Kentucky, but think about the coaches that are going to be in the Final Four of the SEC tournament. Nate Oates, Todd Golden, Bruce Pearl, and Rick Barnes.
Yeah, the Deacon. Kentucky, no fast break points in this game. It's just that's when they're at full strength, that's not how they play at all. They get up and down that floor. Just nothing tonight in the run game.
4 of 16 from three-point land as well. Meantime, Alabama 9 of 26 as we head to the 5:15 mark. Reed. Williams finds Noah. Here comes Carr, and Nelson is there to greet him, and he's going to get the foul.
Grant Nelson's going to say, what am I supposed to do? That's the principle of verticality to go straight up. I don't think he jumped. Maybe he got his arms out a little bit. But those collisions at the rim, man, those are tougher calls than we realize. Nelson's saying that Carr got his elbow into me and pushed me back, but part of it.
Next year, the SEC Now crew is going to have a complete breakdown of this game. Jimmy, the highlights, analysis, interviews with coaches and players. Let's turn the page a little bit here with 5 minutes to go to tomorrow with these final 4 teams, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds. You know, we saw earlier the depth of Florida. It's clear Alabama has an enormous amount of depth. Is that an issue for Tennessee, just focusing on depth relative to the other teams? Does Auburn have the depth that Alabama and Florida have?
Yeah, well, Tennessee's not quite as deep, but Tennessee-Auburn game tomorrow, you go back to how Tennessee played that Auburn. I think it's a 53-51 game. I mean, both teams just guarded their tails off. And you got the 4 best teams in the regular season advancing in this tournament, just like it should be. And all 4 are legitimate national title contenders. That's how good this league is. It's crazy.
Phylon all the way to the basket, uncontested. Pope is not pleased. What will it take for the other leagues, conferences to catch up?
Well, I believe this is going to be the 3rd year in a row that the SEC will add more top 100 high school players than any other league. They've got the money to knock it out of the park in the transfer portal NIL era as well. And we saw it coming last year. I said last year that the SEC was the best league in college basketball. It was met with a lot of pushback and a lot of resistance, but you could see it coming. The SEC, again, last year had more teams in the NCAA than any other league, and they're going to do it again this year. Now, the next step for the SEC is to back up a great regular season and pay it off with a national title, which this league has not won since 2012. There they go.
Well, you show them leaving, but you got to really emphasize the fact that they came here and they do it every year. And certainly there was a re-energized Big Blue Nation crowd that showed up, and that game last night is something they'll all have in their memory banks forever.
Yeah, no doubt. There's not a better fan base in college ball than Kentucky. And Mark Pope knows it. He will talk about after this game how he's disappointed for his players, but he's disappointed for the fan base because he knows how much his team belongs to them. A great, not good, a great hire by Mitch Barnhart.
Fans, man. Those guys need to have a little fun. Yeah. Doing their job. They just need to try to have a little more fun. All the fun tonight's been Alabama's. They got 90 with 3:45 to go. 6 different players have 6 or more points this half. Notes from Mike Notaro continue in spite of the score.
Alabama, 18 field goals at the rim in this game. Kentucky only 7. I said it early. Right off the bat, you realize Kentucky was going to really struggle staying in front of the ball, and that's why you've got all those shots made at the rim by Alabama in this game.
Well, right now, Joe Lunardi says 14 SEC bids. Texas is like right on the cusp. They may be, I believe, Jimmy, what are they? The last of the first, or the last 4 in? Is that what they are?
I think they were the last team in, according to Joe. But they're going to be in the tournament. I mean, the talk about North Carolina has to now be completely off the board. I don't think it was going to be enough that they beat Duke today with only 2 quad 1 wins. But I think Texas has proven themselves in how they played here that they belong in that NCAA tournament.
Jump ball goes to Alabama. And so there they are. See, Texas is the last of the last 4 in.
There's just no way that North Carolina will stay above Texas, I believe, when Joe Lunardi resets this bracket. And Rodney Terry came to Nashville with a purpose and got it done, and they will be 14 teams out of the SEC, which will set an all-time record. The Big East has it with 11 in 2011, and the SEC is going to go 3 teams above that.
St. John's out of the Big East, a terrific team, got a win tonight in their tournament. Creighton knocked off the University of Connecticut, the 2-time defending national champions, as Holloway finishes there.
Well, St. John's is going to be a problem for anyone in that NCAA tournament. I go back to what Mike White told you and I. They beat them, Georgia did, early in the year. He said it was a struggle just to get the ball across half court. And Zuby Ejiofor is one of those guys that's going to be very difficult to knock out of that NCAA tournament.
Thomas Perry will go to the free throw line. And for our crew, Jimmy, this will be our last game at the season for the SEC. We leave it to Dan and Jay and Jess for the championship weekend. I want to give a special thanks to our producer, Scott Matthews, and certainly welcoming Molly to our SEC team. And for people who don't get a chance to be around you, your perseverance with your pain you've been dealing with in your neck and your subsequent surgery that you'll have after the season, you have exemplified what it means to be a trooper and a warrior to get through it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know how much this season and this sport means to you.
It does, and this league is dear to your heart and mine, by the way. And we've seen this league over the years when it had, 4 or 5 teams that were going to be in the NCAA tournament, and now to see it to grow to 14. I sent a picture to Commissioner Sankey early this morning. Was it 5 years ago? We saw him sit down there left all by himself, making those COVID notes when everybody went home. And from that point to where this league is now is just something special to watch unfold. But well, we've had some great buzzer beaters, some great individual performances this year in the SEC.
I'll tell you, the other part of it, you get to know the coaches really well, and then the kids. And the kids change every year, Jimmy.
Yep.
But the character, I think one of the things that Greg Sankey and the SEC wanted to do when they brought in the coaches, not only were you improving the quality of the player, you're generally going to improve the quality of the person. And we have been surrounded by so many wonderful young men over the years.
Yeah, just getting to know guys like, for Trey Johnson, for one brief time, I saw him as he exited the building today. What a special, talented kid that is from Texas. We've grown very close to Mark Sears over the years through his highs and his lows. And LeBaron Philon just has a great joy and smile about him when we talk to him. And on down the line, Jemai Mashak and Zakai Ziegler, 2 of my favorite guys I've ever covered in this league. And their career comes to an end at some point for Tennessee this year. But the SEC has been just absolutely special this year for covering hoops.
That's why Oweh wants him to shoot down as often as he can. And now Alabama is 3 shy of 100. You started this telecast by saying in 2 games, they'd averaged 99 points. They're really likely to get there, if not more, tonight. They get 5 different guys in double figures. Perry follows. It's out of bounds off Kentucky. And this will be that note that Stevie Gonzalez sent along to us, Jimmy, the first time in history, probably because they don't often play 3 times, but they're going to beat them 3 games in a row the same year.
First time in the history of Alabama basketball. Tells you how good also Kentucky has been over the years.
Nate Oates is in the year of KB Burdett. You're seeing a guy that wants to see triple digits, I think.
Looking at Mark Sears sitting over there, I think he's about 45 assists ahead of where he was at this same point last year. His overall game has really grown, and Philon moving him off the ball has been a big deal for both Mark Sears and this Alabama offense. Man, those 2 cats right there, if they show up in your bracket, lace them all the way up to the top before the game begins.
Well, that's one of the things that Oates did. He put creators on the floor with Mark Sears. He thought having Sears out there solo wasn't the way to capitalize on their versatility. So he made sure that Philon was out there, or Youngblood was out there with Sears at the same time. It created a monster in Sears offensively. There was a string of, 5 games in which 3 times he had 30 more points?
It was, and it also improved them defensively, because LeBaron Philon now, he fights on the defensive end. He makes mistakes. He's not perfect, but it's never a lack of effort and caring.
Free ball there from Chandler. Just a quick update for you, Jimmy, because this will probably drive you crazy and not allow you to sleep tonight. But Joe Lunardi's latest bracketology.
Yeah.
Texas is out. North Carolina is now the last team in. Will that impact your ability to sleep tonight?
Tremendously. Okay. There's just no way. There's no way that will hold up. North Carolina has one quad one win and 12 quad one losses, if my math is right. You can't get in just because you played 13 quad one games. You have to beat somebody.
Here it is.
There's Joe Lunardi's great, and maybe he knows something I don't. I don't think that will hold up when that bracket's released on Sunday. How can it?
I guarantee this. He'll have a case that he will make, which you won't agree with, and the numbers don't really support it. So it'd be interesting to hear how he will justify it.
Well, but again, Joe is projecting what he thinks the NCAA selection committee will do, but that one's totally confusing.
Well, Alabama got its 99 points. Kentucky needs to get healthy. They need to get some rest. The good news is it appears as if Butler will be able to play in the NCAA tournament.
Well, Alabama came in averaging 99 against Kentucky, and they got 99 again today.
They were undermanned, and it played that way against a team that was now healthier perhaps than it's been all year. Alabama now makes it a Final Four of a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3 seed, and a 4 seed. Auburn, Tennessee at 1 Eastern time. Alabama and Florida at 3:30 Eastern time. LeBaron Philon, 21 points, the freshman sensation, a difference maker tonight.
Ravi, he made 7 layups in this game. He turned it into a 2-line layup drill for the most part, but he was also very good at the floaters and those short shots around the rim. From day one, he's been really good playing through contact for a young kid, but he was special today. That in the open floor, he's got some Colin Sexton about him. He really
Molly,
does.
go ahead.
LeBaron, 21 points for you tonight. How were you able to take over this game offensively?
It's really our team, coming into here, we say we wanted to win it, so we're going to put everything we got into every game, and that's tomorrow, so we got to get our rest and be ready to play tomorrow, just like that.
At one point in this game, you guys are up big, and coaches were telling you, don't let up. You scored 99 points in this one. How important was it to dominate in this win?
I think out of all the guys, Coach, he get on me the most about just getting the guys ready to play defense and getting ready to get stopped. So we just got to keep playing through everything and not letting one thing discourage our game.
You mentioned tomorrow, next up, it's a Florida team that got the best of you guys just under 2 weeks ago. How do you get revenge on them?
Just be ready, prep more. They got away with a win at our place, so we're going to be ready to go. We're going to have some fire.
All right, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Molly, thank you. LeBaron Philon will realize that Nate Oates getting in his grill is the greatest compliment a coach can give to a player. Hold him accountable.
Like you getting into my grill.
That's right. My buddy Jimmy Dykes, good luck, buddy. Hope that surgery goes well, and we're back here doing it again next year.
Yeah, love you, my man.
Molly McGrath, thank you for all you do. Scott Johnson, our director, and Scott Matthews, our producer. Carl Ravitch saying so long, everybody. The SEC now with Dari and Company start.